Okay, let's go.
Hello there, sister wives, watchers, and chick chatters. We are back with another episode. So far, this is part 3 of the reunion special, the tell-all. We're going to start off with Christine watching the clip of Mary and Robyn outside on the land having the final conversation of Mary's breakup. And as we said in the last episode, yeah, Christine was like, oh, she was there. Like, she was so confused on why she was even there. She said that she's confused also about the whole conversation that Cody brought up between him and Robyn and their sacred covenant. She's confused that he promised Robyn all that, yet had Mary sitting here hanging on by her rope of hope and left her pathetic for years.
It's true though. Like, how do you sit in front of the woman you're having a divorce conversation with and talk to the woman you're in love with about your love for her? I don't know. Maybe that's just a conversation to have elsewhere, but like when you guys are discussing or kind of downloading with each other how you feel about how the conversation went afterwards. But again, I mean, Robyn has inserted herself into all of these relationships and conversations. So it almost like snaps me honestly back to reality when Christine is like, why was Robyn there? Because to me, it's just a given, right? Because Robyn speaks Cody and she's supposed to always be there. And I'm like, oh yeah, like why is Robyn there?
I think though that conversation was for Robyn because it's harder for Robyn to let go of Mary than for Cody. And I think Cody did need to say that to Robyn. I don't know if he necessarily needed to say it in front of Mary, but he definitely needed to tell her that to get Robyn to let go of this whole little fantasy she has, because it's weird that he has this commitment with Robyn and he admits to not having that commitment with any of the other wives. He never told Janelle that. He never told Christine that. He's never told Mary that. But he's made that commitment with Robyn.
I wonder if Robyn realized she had to have realized that. And she acts like she's like innocent or dumb even. Like she acts like, oh, I thought everything was so great. But why would you make that specific of a sacred covenant with each other that if you're ever in a quote pathetic place with each other, that you won't just let it go on? Like you had to have seen that. And maybe she saw that in her past relationships or growing up or something. Maybe it has nothing to do with Cody. But I just think that that's quite specific.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That's a really good point to make.
Yeah, it's not a typical vow that you make with somebody. It's important. I think everybody should make that vow. Like if you're in a miserable place, do not just stay here because we decided to. Either do something to fix it. And Robyn's not wrong. That doesn't mean the marriage is over. That means you have to come to an agreement at that point of what to do, either fix it or not fix it. But Mary and Cody are choosing to not fix it. Cody's choosing to not fix it. Mary wants a real marriage. Cody's not going to give that to her. Whatever. That's the reality of the situation. But I do think this conversation was also for Mary because Mary
wanted
Cody to have this public acknowledgement that the relationship was over. And he still couldn't even really do that when he was sitting there. He kept pushing it off on Mary, and she was doing a good job of pushing it back, towards the middle. But he kept saying, like, you want something that I can't give you. Again, acting as if she's asking for the world when she's asking to like go on a couple of dates and be invited to family events.
Christine is also confused that Mary learned all of this stuff publicly and not from Cody himself, because obviously Cody's told everybody but Mary. But the other wives have been assuming if he's telling them, then he's obviously telling her, because why would he be telling them if he's not telling her?
Assumption to make, but also like you all know who you're married to as well. Like, let's be honest.
Christine does sympathize with her and how horrible that must be for her.
Just the knife in the kidneys!
Mary says that she wasn't going to guess or assume that Cody wanted this whole marriage to be over. Like, you can say you didn't want to assume. It's not even assuming. He is saying it on TV. He's saying it to the world. He's saying it to everybody. So it's truly not assuming. Unless he's truly telling you something else privately, it seems like he's not even communicating with you at all privately.
Seems like maybe she was taking his lack of a conversation with her as a rope of hope, potentially. maybe she thought that he could say it to everyone else, but because he couldn't say it to her, he didn't maybe really mean it. I don't know.
Mary says that he should have been the kind of man to have that conversation with her instead of telling everybody else, which I do agree with. He should have had that conversation with her first. I also can see how he could be telling these people this because he is afraid to tell her. He does not want to tell her. It's easier to tell somebody else who it's not them, but that's also just gossip. So he's also saying in one end, like, him and his wives are different because they gossip and they're this and they're bullies and they're that. Sounds like you're gossiping about Mary. And I don't know,
So
all of a sudden you want to respect her, this tell-all, because you love her, but
he needs to see a therapist. He doesn't have like a cohesive idea of the way that even he himself feels, and he's trying to sell his feelings to all of us as if we're gonna believe them. Suki does ask Mary an important question. She says, hasn't he been telling you all along that he doesn't want to be in a marriage with you, like through his actions and the way that he behaves, and more importantly, his inaction? And Mary, like, kind of, I mean, she admits to it. She's like, yeah, I guess so. But she kind of like makes excuses for him too. And she's like, but we're eternally committed. And, even if in this life, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, Mary, you're over here. I'm a single lady, like, blah, blah, blah. This is, stop making excuses for her. That's just silly. I didn't get that whole excuse anymore. But I guess that's where she was in the moment, and I guess that's what she was trying to portray to us.
I just think she didn't want to hear it. I think she was just holding on to that damn rope of hope for life, and she didn't want to hear it. I think that it had to be said to her in front of a camera in public for a reason. I think that was the only way it was going to drill to her, because you can't really negotiate yourself out of that one. For the longest, she had this ability to say, he's never said it to me. He's never said it to me. And even if he said to her in private, she could still say, he's never said it to me, because he never wanted to talk about it publicly. So she knew she'd be safe, and he never said it to me. But
it is exactly how she says it. That's so funny. Somehow the covenant gets brought back up again, the eternal covenant, the whirlpool of the eternal covenant of the ropes of hope. I guess Cody told everyone after he made this eternal covenant with Robyn, and they all found out about it, and they were really upset because that is an important thing probably to vow to all of your wives. I guess he just basically told everyone, like, if they want to leave, they're free to go. Like, I don't think he meant like right now in this moment, but just anytime in the future. It's also like him saying, if ever you want to leave the relationship, I'm not going to take any responsibility for it to try to change it. Like, you're free to go if you're ever unhappy because I found my end all be all. Kind of a slap in the face. It's not like a reassuring thing.
Mary says that he's told her that he's felt this way for a long time at some point. And she said that he should have told her, but looking back, he did let her go a long time ago. And in light of his covenant with Robyn, she felt like she didn't get respected as a human being. If you have this agreement with Robyn, you should uphold that with everybody. And to be honest, he didn't uphold it with anybody. The only other person he did uphold it with maybe is Christine, because he told her he wasn't attracted to her anymore and he was never going to sleep with her again. Yeah. And that's what set off Christine to like, okay, well then no.
Seems that things with Christine have been bad for a long time too. I found something interesting when Mary was talking about the part that you just said, and she said that at the time she was relying on the covenant of marriage, and that there was nothing that had happened yet at that time to break that. And maybe she's just talking about that they just decided to break the covenant, but I know that Mary and Robyn are both in full agreement that nothing breaks the covenant of marriage unless you've slept with another man. And I just thought it was really interesting that she was so specific to say that nothing happened at that time to break the covenant. So, are you sleeping with somebody, Mary?
Oh. It's a question. I mean, we're not sure. This is all thought, but it's definitely a possibility.
That's what they've said, especially Mary and Robyn. They've been like really hard set because Janelle and Christine have been trying to figure out like what makes us really divorced. And Robyn and Mary have been like steadfast on the whole, you're not truly divorce until you sleep with somebody else. Nothing happened to break the covenant at that time. So has something happened at this time?
Honestly, I think the covenant was broken when he melted down that ring. I mean, that would break my covenant a
Like,
lot.
isn't that like that's the only physical thing in the world that is the covenant, right?
Yeah,
Like,
this is the representation of, especially like,
completely.
okay, so this is my wedding ring. I don't have my
Right.
engagement ring on right now, but this is my wedding ring, and especially this ring would be
Yeah.
like, I would assume the covenant. If I took this off and were to solder it down and show Dean, he'd be like, "You monster!" Like, you know?
I just couldn't imagine someone doing that. It's just insane. Like, I feel like divorced people don't even do that.
No, they
It's
usually
just
keep the ring or like they
my
hand it
parents
down to the
gave the ring
child.
to me, and I
Right.
have thought about melting it down, but even I have a hard time thinking about that. Like, I recently, my engagement ring is broke, so it's getting fixed. So I actually started wearing my mom's old engagement ring. I took the wedding band part off and
Mhm.
put her engagement ring on. And I'm glad that I haven't melted it down, but I still kind of do want to, just to make it my own jewelry. But it's so abnormal, especially when you're still supposed to be in a loving, intimate, committed relationship with this person, to
Mhm.
just go randomly melt your ring down for the purposes of, I don't want to be like
Tied to
associated
you.
with you. Cody says that the covenant of marriage does not include the dissolution of his soul.
Or personality. I need like a dictionary when I listen to this man because I'm like, what is what does that mean? What does
A
that even
dictionary
mean?
and an explanation. I mean, this man loves Mary as a person, sees her as a friend, and then says to be married to her would include the dissolution of his entire soul?
Just the knife in the kidneys.
Come on. And this is the second time now, because he said after that, I won't discuss it further, but that's what it would be, basically, is the dissolution of my soul. This is the second time now that he acknowledges that he's showing restraint when it comes to saying the truth about Mary and what is going on between the two of them. And I want to know what the tea is about Mary. We just spent a whole episode on her last week. I didn't learn a damn thing other than what Christine gave to me, and I'm getting annoyed. Like, now we're openly acknowledging that we are protecting Mary, that we don't want to trash talk her, but that there are things to be said. What the did Mary do? I need to know.
Honestly, I'm just shook because you kept her around for 30 years if she was dissoluting your soul. And to be real, in the old Cody seemed like the happiest version of Cody. Yeah, maybe Robin might be dissoluting your soul a little bit, Cody. I don't know what the deal is here. This is a question. I mean, I'm not for
There's a
sure.
theory.
It's a theory, but I mean, it seems like you're the most unhappy right now. And you
Mhm.
don't have any of these women in your life, especially
Only
Mary. You
Robin.
haven't had Mary around for like 13 years at least, so it's like, what?
Fair.
I'm so lost.
He does say at the end of that whole weird thing, he's not going to trash talk Mary so that he can feel better about how badly he treated her. So he acknowledges that he, put her through it.
You're gonna accuse this woman of dissoluting your personality, which has been only dissoluted since this like whole last 10 years. Cause I mean, we can visibly see the changes in your personality. Mary says that she gave Cody a lot of grace these last 10 years, and that's why it's taken her 10 years to leave, I guess. And Suki asks why he isn't happy, and Mary doesn't know. He says that he doesn't seem like he has any joy, and she isn't sure if he could go back to like the person that he used to be. And that's when we get into who Cody used to be to who he is now, which we have also talked about a lot in our recaps too, like how different he is compared to what he was like in the beginning seasons. So they start showing these clips to discussing that, and they cut back to Mary. And Mary says she doesn't know why he hates his life so much, but it shows that when he talks his way about himself and how he feels and like how of a horrible person he is now and how angry he is, like it just doesn't really concern her anymore because they aren't together. So why would it concern her? So maybe
Yeah.
Mary has like low key moved on, you know? I
I
don't
think
know.
so. I think that there's just, I don't know, maybe the catfishing thing really secretly worked out or something. Like, there's a mystery with Mary afoot that I'm very curious about. I do think too it's worth mentioning that in that clip, obviously the clip is full of scenes that we've already seen, guess I don't remember this part, but Cody said something about being tempted to sit down and stop being good. That like the temptation was so high in his life, and that the temptation was not necessarily for or, bad things, cheating, I guess, adultery,
Yeah.
but that he wanted to just sit down and stop being good. And that did kind of strike me because we've talked about past Cody being so like vibrant and energetic and on the go. And I thought that that was really interesting that he's just tempted to sit down and take a deep breath. Part of me is like, all right, like do that then. If you don't have it in you, then you don't have it in you. But he made these commitments. So it's just, yeah, it's a sticky situation. Robyn, her reaction to the Cody clip, she nodded a lot when Cody said that he wanted to run away from his life. And she said that that's the way that he's been acting. And this is where she says that Cody has been trying to sabotage the relationship. And Suki kind of asks, like, how is that going on? Because, he talks about being so in love with you. And she says that he's been picking fights with her, that he's suspicious of her, and that ultimately they're just in different places about the quote bomb that went off in the family. And that she's sad about that and he's mad about that and wants to quote find whatever. I don't know if find whatever means like just go do whatever makes him feel happy at the moment, or if that means he's like already seeking out another sister
Why?
wife and
That's
has
what
no
I thought.
standard. That's
That's
what
what
I was
I
thinking too. Like he just has completely no standards. He's just gonna go find whatever for
thought.
Robyn.
Yeah, that was weird. Cody says that he does this with Robyn because he wants to punish himself and he thinks of going off with a new lover. Okay. A new lover, what? And leaving Robyn and telling his new lover, I don't love you. I love someone else, but I was too big of a piece of to manage the relationship. Like, what kind of weird fantasy is that? Like, I'm gonna run off with a new lover and then I'm gonna say to them, like, I don't love you.
What kind of egotistical, self-centered person thinks that that is punishment for their own self? Like, you can't even put yourself in the position of what that would be like for the other. Just Cody, like, just go away. Like, go repent somewhere. Like, I cannot.
That floored me. I had to rewatch that part a bunch of times. Like, did he just say he wanted to say this to the lover? And
Yeah,
then
he's, like, fantasized about it too. I mean, he has this, like, so clearly in his mind.
he said this to Robyn or something
Yeah.
because he said he tells her everything that he thinks.
Ugh, I would shudder if I was her,
Yeah.
but he says that, like, ever since Christine left, he's been really angry and that the devil and temptation has been, around and that it's really affected Robyn. Could you imagine your husband being like, "I'm so mad at myself. I just wanna go sleep with someone else and tell them I'm a bullshit husband."
Yeah.
Just just be a bullshit husband. Why do you have to go sleep with somebody else? What do you mean? That's not punishing yourself.
And change his name. Like, what?
Run away.
So then they cut over to Robyn. She's asked by Suki of what's up with him, kind of, and she kind of laughs and says that he's just suspicious about all women in general, and that she has to remind him that not all women are bad. And I'm like, why
Mhm.
are you laughing about this,
I
Robyn?
know. I think
Who
she's
is
trying
this?
to fluff it up a little bit, like, he's not as intense, but, like, we are all in his confessionals too, so we know that he's got the devil swirling around in his head, all kinds of strange and bizarre, like, fantasies. I don't think it's just so much of it's weird. She really did kind of brush that part off. I think she has to, right? If she's gonna continue to be married to him, she has to try to convince him that women are not all bad.
Yeah, she goes on to say that he's lining all the women up in the world, including herself, and going,
Then I'm there with them, and okay, Robyn.
I do think he is picking fights with her. Like, I don't think Cody is the easiest to live with right now. I just
Oh,
don't
for
know
sure.
why he's so stuck in this. Just at least be happy with the one you got. Like, isn't this what you wanted at the end of the day? I think maybe he's upset that he ever had this original family to begin with, maybe. I don't know. But you can't really go back and change time. So I don't know. Like, are you really just still mad about Christine? Because, I mean, come on, it's been years now. And there's something up with this man that I just can't grasp. So Janelle says that his communication has been just leaning towards protecting Robyn, and probably because it's his main relationship. But he does agree with that, actually, when he says that, when the bullying came to Robyn, he just was getting so protective over her that he just wanted to start punching people in the mouths whenever they said anything bad about her. I think that's safe to assume that he was becoming so protective over Robyn that he didn't even care about what these other wives cared about. If they didn't agree with Robyn, they were on Robyn's bad side. They were the enemy. So Janelle is asked if she bullied Robyn, and she says no, and that it seems like Robyn was the perfect wife, and if you just agreed with her, you were not safe. We
Yeah.
saw a lot of that in the COVID season.
Yeah, that happened like during the COVID seasons. Those were like pretty recent. And it didn't just happen with the wives. I mean, it was also with the children, almost even more so with the children. He was protective. It seems like even still he doesn't have much of a relationship with Janelle's boys because of his protection of Robyn. It's probably a good thing that they all weren't around. It sounds like Cody would have punched his own sons in the mouth if they had anything to say about it on Christmas.
Yeah, this man's a little unhinged. Because Cody also is trying to gaslight us and tell us that he was always equitable with his time, and Robyn gets blamed for everything. Well, we watched those COVID seasons, and he was not equitable with his time, even when Christine was still there in Flagstaff. Even if you go off just the later seasons, he was not equitable with his time.
Even close. Makes me wonder if he really is the one who is disliking our videos. We talk about Robyn. He really calls out the public and everything. He's like, everybody in the world blames Robyn for all this stuff that I couldn't do or I couldn't manage. And I'm glad that he's taking ownership for his part of that, but he's not the only part of that. I think Robyn did play some kind of role. I don't think she's being like advocating as much as she really says that she is. Like she shows up and acts that way. I think she's doing the Cody thing. Like she feels one way and she's pretending or playing or whatever word Cody wants to use for acting that day. She's just doing that as far as wanting to be in a plural marriage. It's just, they're so confusing.
We go to Christine, and she says that she's looked back and dissected her relationship with Robyn, and that she remembers there were a few conversations where it could have gone south, but they ended up being able to talk it through and it was fine. She doesn't see why she's even being accused of being a bully. She talks about a time where she once offended Robyn, and she came over and they talked it out and thought that they were fine, but she kept hearing about it afterwards. And of course, Suki's, trying to stir the pot. So she keeps kind of trying to get at what was it?
What is it?
Like,
Give us
what
an
happened?
example.
Tell us the full story, Christine. You already told us about that ring, so tell us about this now.
So she spills it. She says she remembers a personality test. And she said that she was fascinated with the whole thing in general. And that she remembered that Robyn's personality type loves drama, loves other people to feel what they're feeling, and also loves to talk about the drama and listen to the drama. And I'm over here like, is that our personality type as well?
I do not like drama in my own life, but I do like
No,
watching
but I
it
love
on
to
TV.
discuss.
I love to discuss and watch people that I don't know's drama on TV.
So true.
No, but that might be a little bit of our personality type, a little bit. I don't know.
I love Christine, but part of me thinks that this is kind of like almost a setup in a way. Isn't it convenient that Robyn is over here like talking about a bad relationship with Christine and how terrible it is and telling everyone about it, and then Christine is like, yeah, well, she took this personality test and she does love to talk about drama. And I'm like, are you setting her up for this or no? I don't know. It just seemed really convenient that was her personality type, and Christine wanted to bring that up, even though it seemed like she got coaxed into it. But then they go to every single sister wife because Christine says that that's one of the things that made Robyn upset or caused a lack of trust between the two of them. So it cuts to Janelle. Suki just she does this part well. Like she acts so uninformed, even though she has the whole tea for each of them. And Janelle's like, yeah, I remember the test, but I don't remember what everyone else got. I got the diplomat or the peacemaker. Again, all facts with Janelle. Nothing else. So then we get to Mary, and Mary says she can't remember hers, but she does remember that she agreed with it. And she didn't remember the other ones, but she does remember that she thought that those were accurate. It's just so funny. It seems like neither one of them have any idea what they're attesting to right now, that this is like a big drama. We get to Robyn, which is the most interesting of all. Suki has like some therapist skills or something going on here, because she was super delicate with the lies that Robyn was trying to tell us. So she was like
she didn't remember the test at all. She's like, I don't really know what you're talking about. And then she said, oh, okay, I might have taken it. And then she was like, oh, I didn't take it, but I know other people took it. And then once she heard what Christine said her personality type was, then it was, I never took that. But if somebody did take that test for me, it wasn't me. And it was people who did not know me.
I know. And automatically, it's so funny because she goes from saying, if someone did that, then someone was coming up with my type. And Christine didn't even know me that well. I'm like, how do you go from someone to maybe to, and Christine? Like, just say it then. We all know you're talking about Christine. You're accusing this girl of filling out a whole personality test right now. Don't be someoneing us. Let me just tell you right now, Chick Chatters, I don't know how you guys feel about global warming and stuff, but it is mid-December here in Michigan where I live, and somebody's cutting their grass right now. Let that just sink in. Somebody is going to ruin our audio by cutting their grass in mid-December. Apologies.
Christine says that she doesn't trust Robyn because she says one thing and does another. Will not have a relationship with her, but she doesn't blame Robyn for everything falling apart. Cody has chosen to let all of his relationships fall to the wayside, and he only decided to focus on one, and he only decided to make one of them work. So really, it isn't all Robyn's fault. I mean, we can all make fun of her and her brows and like everything, but like it isn't totally her fault. She does have a lot of accountability here. For sure. She definitely has a huge part in it. And if it was not for her entering this family, obviously, I don't think it would be like falling apart at the seams right now. I think it would have lasted a lot longer. That's just my opinion.
I don't agree with him that the world is blaming Robyn because of that. I think the world has their own opinions about Robyn outside of that, but he is the leader of the family by definition of being in a plural marriage with multiple wives. You are the only sole husband, you are the only sole father. You have to be responsible. And he's just not. He never really was. As soon as everything got hard, he was ready to go.
So Mary says that she's trying to navigate being friends with her ex-husband's wife, and she doesn't consider herself a sister wife to anyone because she's not married to anybody. So she is no sister wife. Janelle and Christine consider each other sister wives, but they don't consider Robyn a sister wife because they're both out of their marriage with Cody, but they co-parent with each other. And Robyn considers everybody her sister wife.
Even Christine.
They will all be her sister wives forever. She will forever fantasize about that porch. Says that she is a little bit less lonely in pair one, and her friend Jen is just the one person that she fully trusts. So that's basically Mary's sister wife right there. Because her other sister wives just did not have her back. You know, she doesn't have other sister wives. Like she has to keep saying that. She keeps correcting that. But don't say that to Robyn. And then they talk about how Robyn had this friend that inserted herself in the whole catfishing thing. And that made me wonder, so did they basically say that the friend catfished Mary? Because if the friend catfished Mary, I have a million questions. Like, did Robyn's friend sabotage this on purpose for Robyn? Like, what? I have so many questions. But, or was this friend just trying to make the catfishing thing worse? Were they in cahoots with the catfish? Like, there's just, what?
That's what I'm sort of thinking, but I don't think anybody knows. I think the friend must have known about it and maybe played it off to be more serious than it was, because Mary says something about like the person was convincing them that I was like getting ready to leave the family and run away with them. And Mary has always kind of said she was just looking for like friendship. Again, I have yet to get there. I'm only on season 5 in my rewatch.
And actually, we are planning on doing a deep dive into Mary's catfishing scandal. We're also planning on doing a deep dive into Mary's divorce, the legal divorce with Cody. So watch out for that. That should be coming up probably the beginning of January or maybe the end of this month. Yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. We're going to get into some deep dive stuff while we're on our off season of Sister Wives. Yeah, so yeah, that whole thing confused me, the whole catfishing and the friend thing, but
Robyn like denies the whole thing, so not really worth going back and forth about.
Robyn does confirm that someone was trying to convince her of something that was going on, but she says that she didn't think Mary lost any trust in her, just that she felt lost and hurt, and that Mary was just scared to talk to anybody about it. She didn't think that anything of it. So that just shows you Robyn and Mary's relationship really ain't that close, because Robyn just brushed off Mary's feelings of, well, she's just scared. So Suki asked Robyn if Mary leaving was what was best for her, and she looks away and says the softest, yeah. She was forced, it felt, to say that. She knew that's what the public has to hear, but it is not what this girl feels in my heart and soul. It's what I believe. Don't you dare tell Robyn that she has no sister wives. Don't you dare tell Robyn that Mary is not her sister wife, because once Suki was like, well, your sister wife or ex-sister wife, she's my sister wife. Don't say that.
You're delusional. I'm sorry. I can understand how Christine and Janelle call each other sister wives. They still have a family unit together. Mary and Robyn could have had a family unit together even without Cody. It doesn't cost any money or any effort, honestly, to give Mary a call on holidays and birthdays and gatherings and have a family unit. Maybe to not like sell her out to your husband when you hear weird rumors about her talking to people online. Like, maybe you should have been more trustworthy and you would be considered a sister wife beyond the relationship with the husbands. But she hasn't been. She's been loyal to Cody and Cody only, and that's fine. But you're not going to be considered a sister wife after those people leave the husband. Like, you're not trustworthy. You're just not. Everyone wants to throw around this lack of safety. Robyn is the least safe person when it comes to any of the other sister wives, because she has a solid loyalty to Cody even through his sabotage.
That's when we get Sob and Robyn. We've been waiting for her for a couple of episodes, and she doesn't know how to let go of the other sister wife. That this is just not her being dramatic. Thank you, Christine.
What a horrible thing to say. Now every time I cry, everyone's gonna think I'm being dramatic. We already thought that, Robyn.
Speaking of dramatic, we get into this dramatic gift exchange chat.
It's been an ongoing conversation, and I forgot that there was that table sit down with the dinner with the older kids, and they were like, yeah, we don't need a father figure anymore, so peace out. Everybody's been wanting, to see that text thread, which I'm shocked that it hasn't been leaked.
I can see why we're not reading it. I mean, it seems like a lot of really emotional things were said in it. And when they were replaying this clip, Robyn kept making all these faces and confused faces. Christine says she read through the text thread and she said it was just insane. It escalated quickly. It spiraled out of control. And she thinks that a lot of the stuff that was said just needed to be addressed in therapy. Apparently, Robyn's kids just don't feel safe with the family. They felt that ever since they've been blended in originally, that people just have not accepted them. Robyn feels like she wasn't accepted, and Christine and Janelle seem pretty blown back. This whole time you felt this way. Like, why didn't anybody say anything? They also get into how the blending of the family, it didn't go the way they expected. They probably should have did a little better. They didn't take everybody's temperature. They didn't sit down with all the kids and discuss it through. And honestly, I don't think they had much of an opportunity. Cody and Robyn were dating secretly behind the rest of the sister wives' backs. I mean, we can't forget about that part. We can't forget about the fact that only really Mary knew.
I think that could be hard as a kid to accept 3 new children, and obviously more, after they have more. But I could see them making attempts to accept the kids, but there's already, 15 kids here, and a lack of resources on like the one sole father that they have. So I could see them also not only being like jealous for their moms, because like, where did this other woman come from, and feeling protective over their mothers, especially the boys, I think, felt that way. They're also feeling protective over themselves and their time with their dad and their siblings, and especially the older kids with their younger sibling. If they didn't spend a lot of time, which it sounds like they spent little to none, really like focusing on integrating and how these kids actually feel, what do you think is going on here, and correcting any assumptions that were being made, because they just lived with those then forever.
Robyn says that she was being told by somebody that her kids were hated before the chat. And it's interesting because somebody else, I think it was Mary, says that she was told information too at some point, but they don't ever name the people who are telling them all this information. They just keep saying, well, I was told, I was told. So it's very
Is
ambiguous,
it
but
Cody? I mean, who is
I don't
over
know.
here trying to sabotage? I
Mhm.
don't see any of the kids wiggling their ways into doing that. It's got to be Cody, right? So weird.
Robyn says that her kids were just expressing themselves and felt like they were being mocked, so they didn't feel safe doing the gift exchange anymore. And Christine says that her kids were sad about it. There was never a division in the family until Robyn made one. So Christine's firing shots at Robyn.
Christine has some anger towards Robyn.
Yeah.
Janelle kind of makes a good comment too about this whole Christmas exchange. Her opinion of this, again, just facts, is that very quickly this conversation seems to have went from we can't schedule at 9 o'clock on a Zoom to we were never loved or cared about at all. Seems like everyone's emotions were just really already hurt. It just took one thing to kind of bring all of that.
Well, and I blame Cody because he hasn't actually sat down with any of his kids to discuss any of his actual issues with his kids, because it all really goes back to him.
Well, and not only does Cody do nothing about it, his whole solution to this is like, okay, well, nobody's gonna do it then. We're just gonna cancel it and we're gonna do our own Christmas together. Like, does that not do anything but validate exactly how Robyn's kids feel, which is it's not safe to be around my family, so let me swoop in and protect you from them and take everything away. This is supposed to be a family. It's supposed to be your family, Cody. So you're supposed to be the one to lead this family and talk about the way that all these kids feel. If they've said things where Christine is like, this stuff needs to be handled in therapy, these kids are really, truly hurting. And Cody's solution is to just shut it all off and we're just not going to do it. Like, it's just completely insane how lazy he's become.
Christine talks about her engagement with David and says that they met online. She says that she wanted to meet his family because I guess that's like when you truly know if it's for real, if this person's for real. That she fell in love with him on their fourth date specifically because they kind of like snuggled up and she took her very first breath. And she's very descriptive, Christine. She should have been a romance novel writer. Like, she really knows how to captivate an audience.
She has such descriptive words. You're right. I think that was a missed opportunity for her. They were always looking, for these businesses that had flexible schedules, like real estate and like running businesses and things like that. She should have been writing books this whole time, like romance novels. It's all Cody's fault that he never unlocked the romance factor for her.
Like, Christine, if you're
Totally.
watching this, you should definitely be doing some romance novel writing or
Or
any type of
even
writing.
even just like short stories.
Write
And
a
she
TV
has to
show.
narrate them on Audible. Like, she has to be the one. It's in her words, but it's also in her pronunciation of
Yeah.
everything.
Suki asked Christine the difference between Cody and hers relationship and David and hers relationship. And she said the first thing that she realized was that David actually loves her. And that really kind of hurt me. I'm like, oh, Christine, this whole time, like 30 years, like I couldn't even imagine feeling like I've wasted 30 years on somebody. And she says that she has this confidence now in being with him that she didn't have before. Like, she doesn't feel like she has to earn his love, that he just loves her as she is. And I'm really glad that even in her 50s or whatever, that Christine gets to feel this and be a part of it, because it really sucks that all these years she's felt like she's had to earn love.
She's like so cute and excited when she's describing all of this and like, how she is in love with him. And then I'm all excited. I'm ready. I'm like, okay, we're going to see David. Here he comes, because she's getting ready to talk about him. And I thought we'd just see David like a little 5-minute snippet and then like, see you later for the rest of the season. But no, we get an entire next time on Sister Wives. So this is going to be Christine's episode where we meet the love of her life, David. But gosh, they have been dangling David in front of us for so freaking long.
And these monsters at TLC made him the damn thumbnail.
I didn't even notice that.
And this is the .go app. There's David.
That's such trash. I can't even believe it. So we'll see you next time, Chick Chatters. We have a new subscriber goal of 175 subscribers. So if you've been watching and enjoying, if you want to see some more, obviously part 4 is coming as a shock to all of us, but we will be covering it. So subscribe if you haven't, so that you can get, some notifications and follow along with our channel.
All right, Chick Chatters, we're going to leave you on that and have a good one. We'll see you next week.
Bye.